So we've got about 10 minutes till kick-off here. North Korea against Brazil. Probably time for a little reminder of the teams, John. Who can do that? Alistair, can you do that for us? A little reminder of the teams. One full of household names, the other completely unknown.
I will start with the household names. That, of course, is Brazil, 5 times World Cup winners and the number 1 ranked team in the world. Julio Cesar is in goal. Picked up a back injury in a warm-up game against Zimbabwe, but he's okay, so he's between the sticks. Back 4 of Maicon, Lucio and Juan, an extremely experienced centre-back pairing, and Michel Bastos at left-back. Gilberto Silva, Felipe Melo ahead of that back 4. Ilano, Kaká, Robinho ahead of them, and Luis Fabiano up front. A huge scrum of photographers below us as we just await the arrival of the two teams. The North Korean team lineup in full, I'm sure will not mean too much to you at home. It's a back 5. What's interesting about them and trying to commentate on them is we have 3 players called Ri and 2 players called Pak, all playing at the back. So I guess from a commentator's point of view, if we're not sure, we can have a guess, and we may well get it right. The goalkeeper is Ri Myong-guk. The fullbacks are Cha Jong-hyuk and Ri Kwang-chon. Ri Jun-il sits in front of the 2 centre-backs, Pak Nam-chol and Pak Chol-jin. Moon In-guk, An Yong-hak, Ji Yun-nam, a midfield 3 with the captain, Hong Yong-jo, playing in behind the Asian Wayne Rooney, Jong Tae-se. So if you can remember all that, if we can remember all that, we'll be doing extremely well.
The luckiest man in this ground tonight is John Murray, because he's got 22 and a half minutes to try and get a handle on who is who. Just to tell you, Nicky Campbell from 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. David Moyes will be on the programme talking about some Everton shirts for that. And the England media, but not at 6 o'clock in the morning, he won't be. From 6. Got news for you, David. And England media bubble at 9:40 tonight with Ian McGarry. David, our friend Maurizio from El Globo said, Robinho, I really expect a lot from him. What did you make of the Robinho we saw at Eastlands?
I don't think we really took to him. I think a really talented player going forward. I think the Manchester City fans would be the best people to ask that question. But I think in the end they thought, yeah, we quite like him. But in the end he didn't really hack it really in the way we wanted our football to be played.
Particularly away from home. I mean, he seemed to be okay at Eastlands, didn't he? But away from home, for whatever reason, he just didn't seem up for it.
That's right. I mean, what we require in the Premier League is you have to do the work. You have to work back and forward as well. He was happy going forward, but not so much going backwards.
We can see the teams in the tunnel here. The noise of the vuvuzelas gets ever louder. Just a few empty seats in some of the corporate areas over on the far side as we just have a look through the Brazilian team and pick out some players to keep an eye on. Lucio, David, had a terrific season, didn't he, when Inter Milan won everything that they could possibly get their hands on.
Yeah, he's a really good player, and it just shows, how Brazil has changed. The defenders are terrific, attacking full-backs, strong centre-backs, and arguably, not arguably, the best goalkeeper in the world, probably.
Well, and that's a change as well, isn't it? Because sometimes, even go back to 1970 and people said, brilliant team, but Felix could be a little bit up and down. Now we're talking about, as you say, a goalkeeper as good as anyone has.
Yeah, and we're aware of them because they play in the Champions League, and, they're full of players who most people back home know.
Other household names, Maicon, who's had a tremendous season for Inter Milan as well. Kaká, of course, who I think had an average time with Real Madrid. I don't think it was any better than that, so he'll be really determined to do something in this World Cup. Ilano, another one we've seen in the Premier League, who's gone to pastures new and just to reinvigorate his club career. And Gilberto Silva, who we mentioned, of course, and actually Dunga himself said Arsenal haven't been the same since they let Gilberto Silva go. So the two teams lining up across the halfway line. The referee, Victor Kasai from Hungary. Flashbulbs go off and the public announcer asks everybody to stand for the national anthems. some Brazilian fans in the crowd holding replica World Cups. They're after their 6th world title, the highest ranked team in this World Cup against the lowest ranked. And it's time for the North Korean anthem. A little pocket of North Korean fans just below us to our right wave their flags enthusiastically. There's an enormous Brazilian shirt being passed overheads on the far side. As the flags are carried off the pitch, the two sets of players shake hands. We're ready for this game then. North Korea against Brazil. You've heard from John Murray, from David Moyes. And actually, Ali, everyone wants to know, did you play spoof to start this match? Was it best of 3? What happened?
Well, funnily enough, we were watching David Moyes' Everton team, I think back in April time, away in Portugal against Sporting Lisbon. And John, I thought very kindly at the time, volunteered to go first that night because it was quite a high commentary position, and I hadn't done too many games of European football. What I didn't realise at the time was he had worked out our first game at the World Cup would be Brazil against North Korea, and rather smugly pointed it out to me after that game. So here we go, Brazil against North Korea. Brazil in the familiar bright yellow shirts, blue shorts and white socks are lining up in front of an absolute armada of photographers on the touchline in front of the Brazil dugout, and the North Korean team as well, all in red with white trim, red shorts and red socks, have had their team photo and go sprinting away off into their half of the field. The flashbulbs continue to pop around the iconic Ellis Park. And what a fascinating, if rather chilly, football evening we have ahead of us on 5 Live Sport tonight. A complete clash of cultures. Brazil having played in every single World Cup, 5 times winners. A real footballing mismatch. Number 1 ranked team in the world. North Korea, only their 2nd ever appearance. The lowest ranked team in the competition. Before we get underway, David Moyes, I just want to say the one thing you pointed out to me as soon as the North Korean team ran onto the field for their warm-up. You were very impressed, weren't you, the way they entered the field and then their warm-up itself.
Yeah, if warm-ups were in to go by, they look a right good side, but all doing everything together, all in harmony each other. But the football they played in the small box within the warm-up, they were very good. So let's see, they're up against the best tonight, so it'll be very difficult for them.
Well, they've just come out of a little huddle, the North Koreans. This is the biggest footballing night of these players' lives. What an opportunity for them. Playing for their country's pride, really huge pressure, I guess, on both managers in very different respects. Dunga in charge of Brazil. His team has been criticised for not quite having the flair of previous sides. He is expected to win this World Cup. And here's opposite number Kim Jong-un. Well, has brought North Korea to the World Cup, an achievement in itself. A really, really difficult group for them. And I guess the main objective is to keep national pride and to play well, and we are underway at Ellis Park, and North Korea launched their first attack of the 2010 World Cup. A long ball forward is headed powerfully away by Swan. Robinho cannot control in his bright orange boots, and the ball drifts out for a throw to North Korea. Wonderful to see that they do have some fans inside the stadium this evening. We really didn't know what the kind of numbers would be. Obviously they are hugely outnumbered by the yellow shirts and the famous Brazilian flags being fluttering around with the blue globe in the middle of the yellow diamond with the green background. But we do have this wonderful little band of red uniform North Korean fans sitting just in front of us with the stiff-peaked baseball caps, little flags, and their team songs they got going well before kick-off. Here is Ri Jun-il, their sweeper. Long ball forward, headed away by Juan again, and it's picked up by the left-back, Michel Bastos. I think, David Moyes, we're obviously going to be commentating on a lot of Brazilian possession. It's just going to be very interesting to watch their approach to this game, actually.
Well, the opening minutes or two, they've done well. The North Koreans have just started bright enough. They've knocked a couple of long balls. But now Brazil are back on the ball, and as you said, it might be a long night for Korea, because I'm sure they'll have a lot of it, Brazil.
They will be extremely fit, the North Koreans. Here's Robinho, his first dazzling little run down the left-hand side. Couple of step-overs, a nutmeg into the penalty area. Kaka's on the ball, trying to get the shot away. He couldn't, he was well tackled. And North Korea will come clear. Just a little taste of what we can expect.
Yeah, the number 2, which I'm going to call him tonight. I'm not using the names, Alistair, that's for sure. Had Robinho had about 5 or 6 step-overs in front of him, and I don't think he knew what way to turn.
Also the reaction of the crowd, and as I say, mainly Brazilian, to Robinho just having his first little run. You could just hear the shrieks and shrill gasps of joy as he made that run forward. Ilano's trying to fire one into the feet of Kaka. Intercepted. Here's the Korean captain, Hong Yong-jo. Plays the ball out wide right to Mun In-guk, who's going to take Gilberto Silva on for pace down the right-hand side. Michel Bastos comes in to help out, wins the ball for Brazil. We've played 2 minutes at Ellis Park on an extremely chilly June evening in Johannesburg at this Winter World Cup. We were warned, and there's a long ball forward towards the edge of the penalty area from Maicon, and it won't reach Luis Fabiano. Did spot a couple of Brazilian fans, David Moyes, going for sort of shared bodily warmth ahead of kick-off.
I think it is. I saw cuddling going on. I saw a few Scottish fans today with the kilts on there in the ground, so we're here. Even though the team's not here, there's a few jocks here, that's for sure.
I just wonder whether there was anything underneath the kilts as well, because...
Well, I think tonight they know better. It's like a night in Glasgow, the weather here, that's for sure.
Ri Kwang-chon, Everton manager David Moyes, watching the action with us this evening. That is a poor little ball forward from G, the left-sided midfielder who's playing in his bright yellow boots. Also interesting to note, I know we often sort of talk about this during Premier League games, but none of the North Korean players are wearing gloves this evening. A lot of the Brazilian players are. I guess you'd expect that.
Yeah, it's a night I thought you could have maybe had tights on as well. Some of the players are wearing them now, but you're right, the Brazilians, a lot of them are wearing gloves because it is such a cold night, but they're used to it. They've been playing in Russia, they play all over Europe now, and they play through our winter, so this won't come as a surprise to them.
Be interesting to see. I'm just looking at the figure of Julio Cesar, the Brazilian goalkeeper, clapping his hands together to try and keep them warm. Whether he's going to have anything to do this evening, I'm not sure. Brazil have possession. 3.5 minutes played at Ellis Park on 5 Live Sport this Tuesday night. Maicon starts a little run forward. The bustling figure of Pak Nam Chol comes running in and clatters into the tackle and wins the ball. Maicon stole about 6 or 7 yards there for the throw-in. Throws into the edge of the box. Fabiano's able to bring it down. Gets it into the path of Kaka. He can't control. Fabiano gets it back. One of the Brazilian players playing in the black gloves. Chipped in by Maicon towards Fabiano. Kaka's trying to get there. He cannot get there. The goalkeeper, Ri, gets his first touch. Big tournament, I think, David, this for Kaka. Hasn't had the greatest season at Real Madrid. Former World Player of the Year, kind of player who'll want to stamp his mark on it.
Definitely, and already Brazil have been in the box a couple of times and there's moments where you're saying the slightest touch, no, they're in. So, but Kaka had one moment earlier on which maybe should have done a little bit better.
Yeah, just trying to pull the trigger and got tackled before he could get the shot away. Now then, here is Cha, the right back for North Korea, curling ball into the box. Jong tried to bring it down, couldn't control, and the ball drifted behind for a goal kick. Do want you to keep an eye on him, David. He's the chap known as the Asian Wayne Rooney. I've got to say, I think it's more for build, possibly, and style of play than...
But he is the one who's in Japan playing, isn't he? And there's not many who play outside their country. There's a couple of players. So they should be a little bit better known. And as far as we know, he scored a few goals over there.
Yes, the chap we're talking about is Jong Tae-se. He's the number 9.
Even Brazil missed control. You had a ball across the pitch and the ball went out. So it's not just all the other countries at the moment.
A little grimace from the coach Dunga, who's standing on the sideline chewing his nails in a thick black coat, feeling the cold. 5 minutes played. Brazil 0, North Korea 0. The number 9, Jong Tae-se, I was telling you about, 7 goals and 13 appearances in the J-League so far this season. Good international record, actually. With 16 goals in 24 caps, and he said rather boldly that he's going to score in every group game. We'll have to see about that. Might get a chance here, though. North Korea pulling the ball back from the byline on the right-hand side. It's well intercepted by Bastos, picked up by Rubinho, who obviously doesn't think about launching it long from that position. Brazil are going to casually and coolly play their way out of their half.
It's interesting to see. I think North Korea have set up with three at the back, and there's been very few teams in world football who look as if they're set up. So we'll see what happens. I think one of the teams, I think it was Uruguay, who set up that way early in the competition. So let's see how they go, if it's a containing job or if it's used as an attacking play.
Let's just remind you of the two lineups then. Brazil have Julio Cesar in goal, Maicon at right back, Michel Bastos at left back, Lucio and Juan as the two centre-backs. Now then, little opportunity here as Elano trying to make space on the edge of the box. Left-footed shot is driven wide of the right-hand post. Keeper went scrambling across his goal to cover it. Long-range shooting we do want to improve in this World Cup, and that just a little sighter from Elano.
Well, if MD's going to score goals in long range, you think it was the Brazilians. They're technically very good and they've got good strikers of the ball.
He's a star man, apparently, the North Korean goalkeeper, Ri Myong-guk is his name, a really important player in their qualifying campaign. North Korea do not score many goals, but they did keep a lot of clean sheets. Now then, Kaká, dangerous here, sliding the ball into the feet of Rubinho, beats a man, shoots, and this one's wide as well. Two shots in the space of 30 seconds. Rubinho just a little gasp, open mouth, disbelief that he couldn't quite get the shot right. Ball goes behind for a goal kick. Let's just finish that Brazilian lineup for you. I mentioned the back four: Gilberto Silva, Felipe Melo in front of the defence. Elano plays on the right-hand side of midfield, Rubinho on the left, and Kaká sitting in behind Luis Fabiano. Ri Myong-guk, the North Korean goalkeeper, in his light blue goalkeeping jersey, whacks the ball downfield. Pak Nam-chol with a little side-footed pass forward. Brazil have it again inside their own half with Elano. Goes wide right to Maicon. Infield to Gilberto Silva. Almost gave the ball away. Two North Koreans around him. Pak Nam-chol takes the ball off him. Look at the manager was encouraging him there right on the sidelines.
The coach was like Diego Maradona there, the way he was the other day, and right on it out the side, trying to will him on to get forward.
When I do get a little bit of time, I will run you through the North Korean starting lineup. As I say, it won't mean too much to you listening at home this evening on BBC Radio 5 Live, but possibly players who will come more to the forefront of our minds during the World Cup. Just think back to 1966 when North Korea weren't given a chance. Playing in England, of course, the famous group win over Italy by 1-0, scored by Pak Duik, and then the incredible quarter-final 3-0 up against Portugal at Ayerson Park before Eusebio got stuck in and won that game 5-3. The Vuvuzelas are blasting loud as Maicon picks the ball up on the right-hand side, curls into the back post. It's headed away by North Korea. And Felipe Melo, whose name I've barely mentioned in the first half so far, can't win that ball back. And here's Jong Tae-se, the Asian Wayne Rooney, as we will continue to remind you, who's just lost possession. He's going to have a tough job up there on his own tonight, David.
Yeah, yes, he's getting supported by the captain, number 10, who's just playing behind him. So they'll try and get forward a little bit. But they've certainly filled the middle of the park, and they're playing with two wing-backs who are actually in a back five at the moment, because Brazil look as if they're going to have an awful lot of the ball. And they've set up to, it looks like, not to lose too many goals.
That's what we've seen so far. A couple of shots from Elano and Rubinho wide of the target. Little dummy from Melo. Lets the ball run to Bastos, who fancies a strike from range, drags it across the goal, and behind for a goal kick. Let me run through this North Korean lineup quickly then. Ri Myong-guk in goal, Cha Jong-hyuk at right back, Ji Yun-nam at left back. The back three David was talking about. Pak Chol-jin is the right centre-back, Ri Jun-il and Ri Kwang-chon. The other two centre-backs. Moon In-guk is the speedy right winger. In midfield with him is An Young-hak and Pak Nam-chol. Hong Yong-jo, the skipper, playing in behind Jong Tae-se. We will be testing you on that North Korean lineup at half-time.
All well-known names back home, those boys.
Yeah. And as you say, David, I mean, in fact, the obvious reason for that is very few of them play outside North Korea.
That's
you have a couple of them playing in Japan, and the skipper actually is the one player who's played in Europe, playing in Russia at the moment. North Korea have the ball, though, in their red shirts, playing from right to left. Not red to left, right to left in this first half. And they have possession on the right-hand side with the right-back, Cha, who's trying to slide one down the line for the skipper, Hong. Couldn't control it. Gilberto Silva, just a little miscontrol in front of his own penalty area, so the ball is lost. Here's An Young-hak, defensive midfielders, given the ball to Jong. Now he's the dangerous striker. Look at him go, the number 9. Shoots from the angle, straight at Julio Cesar. But a nice bit of play from the centre forward.
Well done. And I think he showed a lot of confidence in the comments he made that he was going to score, I think, the games. And I'll tell you what, they went to the Brazilian back 4 there, got through and got a shot in and goal from a tight angle, albeit. I don't know if it was ever going to beat Cesar, but well done, lad.
We've seen some goalkeeping mistakes so far in the World Cup. The ball, by the way, is played down the line here to Ilano. He's just going to keep it in at the byline. Crosses in towards the back post, and it's headed away by the right back Char, with Rubinho threatening just behind him. By the way, talking about goalkeepers, we have Algerian commentators away to our left-hand side. England, of course, playing Algeria on Friday, so I was having a little discussion with them ahead of kick-off about goalkeepers and respective problems that both teams have. Maicon's floated ball into the box is too far, and it's an easy catch for Ree. 11 minutes played. It's 0-0, and North Korea, David Moyes, have started okay, haven't they?
They've done all right. They're organised. You can see how well they've got 5 across the back most of the time. The 2 boys up front, or the boy just playing behind the striker. They've knocked a few long balls, I think, trying to get in behind them, but the Brazilians are better than that, and they're going to have to do more if they're going to score. Well,
North Korea here have just caused themselves a bit more work, because the goalkeeper has whacked the ball. Remember, we're playing at high altitude here, of course, almost 6,000 feet above sea level. The ball travelled miles all the way down the pitch, and he's given it back to Brazil. So not necessarily what you want to do against the 5-time World Cup winners. Floated ball into the penalty area. Is headed away, picked up on the edge of the box by Fabiano, just trying to muscle himself a little bit of space. Here he is, a couple of red shirts around him. Ilano slides it out to Maicon, drives the ball across the box, chested down Ilano with the shot, and it is well saved by Ree. First shot on target, easy save for the keeper. It's 0-0.
It was a poor header by the number 5, one of the centre backs, what gave them the opportunity. But Brazil again, when they get near the box, they look as if they've got players who can score.
There's Lucio, who's gone down in a real heat there. Claims he was caught by the centre forward Jong. Seems to be in real pain. Always hurts a little bit more when it's colder, and you get that first whack on the ankle or wherever it is. So Brazil 0, North Korea 0 here at Ellis Park. Results so far today: New Zealand 1, Slovakia 1. Remember, in that group, Italy and Paraguay drawing 1-1 last night. New Zealand scoring with practically the last kick of the game, a header into the bottom corner from Winston Reid. And Ivory Coast and Portugal in this group playing out a rather frustrating 0-0 draw. There's a strong challenge in midfield from Melo, shoulder to shoulder, won the ball fairly against Munn. And now here is Bastos on the left-hand side for Brazil to Rubinho, who's been a real star player for Brazil in the lead up to this World Cup. Remember, of course, his problems at Manchester City. Back heel from Rubinho, just trying to find Kaká, didn't quite come off. Little oohs and ahs from the Brazilian fans packed in around Ellis Park, but North Korea in their bright red kit come away down the right hand side and have worked this move well. Here's the skipper Hong, who's got a bit of pace down the right hand side, still going, tries to knock the ball past Xuan, who slides in, stops the ball, keeps it in play, is then fouled. Brazil will get the free kick. David Moyes.
Yeah, they're having a go there, and it was interesting. I thought there was a free kick there to North Korea, and it wasn't given, and I didn't see one player make a complaint at all or go towards the referee at all. But for me, it was a free kick they didn't get.
It was very interesting to watch the two teams come out of the tunnel. I mean, Brazil, as you'd expect, their players strolled out and started knocking passes around. There was obviously some sort of organised warm-up a bit later, but North Korea absolutely came out, almost marched out in a line, lined up in the middle of the half, applauded all 4 sides of the ground.
It was very regimental, and possibly that's the way they are in their country.
Rubinho sliding a pass across the turf to Maicon on the right-hand side. It's going to fancy a little dart in towards the penalty area. Good tackle there by Munn on Ilano, so Pak will come away with the ball down the left-hand side. The number 4 for North Korea, strong in the tackle. Lucio nips in, gets a toe on the ball. Final touch came from Pak, and so Brazil win the throw. He's a tricky character, by the way, Pak Nam-chul. There is another player in the North Korean squad who is also called Pak Nam-chul. So there you really are struggling, because 2 players, that's like having 2 Wayne Rooneys, basically.
Well, I'm calling them by numbers, that's all I'm getting. But it's interesting to see Brazil now are beginning to wander. Rubinho's beginning to wander behind the striker, and Kaká's coming deeper, because North Korea have just sort of shut up a little bit at the back. There's not much room for the players to go through, so they're beginning to try and get a bit more movement, Brazil, and see if they can try and break the lines of North Korea.
Trying it again now. Kaká takes the ball down on his chest. In very quickly there is the number 5 Ree to make the tackle on Real Madrid's Kaká. Good little skills from the skipper Hong, one of the most experienced players in the North Korean side, who takes the penalties as well. If North Korea do get one. Here's the dangerous centre forward Jong, who's just going to roll the ball into the feet of Ji, the number 8. About 40 yards out. Munn's going to try a shot, dummies the shot, now lines it up on his left foot, it's deflected. Lucio's there with a really acrobatic clearance from the Brazilian centre-back. Robinho can't control, and the ball goes out for a throw. There's just a little bit of throw there as well.
It was good. They look as if they've got a bit of confidence, they're beginning to grow in the game. And I'll tell you what, before it we were saying, look at the teams they've beaten to get through, but in the opening 10-15 minutes, they're certainly not out of place.
Will they come again? So Brazil possibly realising they've got a bit more of a challenge than maybe they thought. Attacking down the right-hand side. Strike comes in with the left foot. That one is sliced and well wide. Rather typical of the shooting we have seen in the World Cup so far. But definitely those last 2 or 3 minutes suggesting North Korea do like to come forward at times, can score goals. 2 balls on the field right now. Seen that a couple of times as well, which is just a little bit annoying because it slows play up. Brazil were trying to get going. But it was Cha, the right back, who hit the left-footed strike, and in fact, rather than going back to the goal kick, the referees come sprinting over. I haven't mentioned our referee, by the way, Victor Kasai, young referee, only 34 years old, from Hungary, is a travel agent by day. So I was just wondering ahead of the game whether he maybe got himself a bit of a deal on his trip out here to South Africa. Haven't really had cause to mention him too much so far. Almost 17 minutes played. And we are still Brazil 0, North Korea 0. Fascinating to think if this game is being shown live in North Korea, just quite what the atmosphere will be like, where people will be watching it, etc, etc, etc. A country that we really do have very little idea about. Here's Kaká coming down the right-hand side with Maicon, trying to play the little 1-2. Maicon now stabs a ball. Oh, it's just too far for Robinho there, and he's not going to pick it up, but Gilberto Silva wins it back for Brazil. And the ball is at the feet of Lucio now, and North Korea, even though this ball is just 5 yards inside their half, quite happy to stand off the Brazilians from there and play a little pressing game. Michel Bastos, who often plays right midfield for Lyon, left back for Brazil, obviously likes to attack, has been tackled. Cha, the right back, comes away with the ball. Now a slid pass towards Jong, who tried to just lay off the ball first time, got it stuck underneath his studs, and Brazil have possession again. Kaká in the black gloves, 40 yards out on the right-hand side to Maicon. Maicon back in field to Ilano. Brazil building up slowly, just looking for the killer pass. Could this be it? Ilano to Robinho, looking for the 1-2. Fabiano layoff, couldn't be picked up by Robinho. North Korea come clear again. They can defend, David.
There's lots of players in the middle of the pitch for North Korea, and they had a moment there when they're all behind the ball. They won the ball back, and they had a great counter-attack chance, North Korea, and they just didn't make the pass. But they're making it difficult. They're not allowing Brazil to go through the middle of them. They've got a lot of players.
Oh, goodness me. Speculative shot here from Munn all the way from the halfway line. Now, that would have been something special. Julio Cesar was well alert on his line. Not going to be lobbed from there and made the catch. Sorry, David.
That's the longest shot of the tournament so far. That was halfway line to try and beat the goalkeeper. So that gives you an idea what people think what they can do with the ball.
I think it was you who said to me, actually, Dave, I can't remember whether it was you last night who said to me we might even see a goalkeeper score at this World Cup with some of the clearances we've had.
I wonder if there's any bookies giving a bet on a goalie scoring a goal, whether it be from a kicker coming up late in the game to score, because I think Tim Howard kicked one the other night against England, which had one bounce and went over the bar.
19 minutes played. Brazil 0, North Korea 0. Another question actually I did want to ask you, David. Are you in touch with the Everton boys out here, having any chats with them?
Yeah, I've been speaking to one or two of them on texting them and wishing them good luck, and at the moment I think all the boys who don't play for Everton have done really well. Tim Cahill was be very disappointed to get sent off the other night though.
Yeah, he looked absolutely distraught, didn't he, coming off the field. Stephen Pienaar, big day for him, of course, one of David's players. South Africa Day tomorrow. South Africa back in action again. They play Uruguay in Pretoria. That's our 7:30 commentary tomorrow night on Radio 5 Live. Spain get into action tomorrow as well, the European champions. What can Brazil do here? Kaká's gone down very easily there on the edge of the box, and quite rightly the linesman was right alongside it, decided not to give the free kick.
What you can see with Brazil, though, the very little width, because Ilano wants to come in and go inside, so does Robinho. Kaká's in there, Fabiano, so a lot of the play central, exactly where.
Ball slid into Robinho from Fabiano, shot into the near post, well saved by Rui.
Yeah. And again, once again, Robinho's looking the biggest threat for Brazil when he's had a chance. He did 2 or 3 opportunities, and it was a good attempt at goal.
John Teysse, the number 9, really frustrated there because Ree, as well as having made the save, spotted he was unmarked inside the Brazilian half, got the ball to him, he couldn't control it, and all of a sudden the red shirts of Korea massed in defence have these yellow shirts with the little white football shimmying towards them, trying all sorts of tricks. Maikon, the right back, has Alano in a bit of space on the right hand side. He's overrun it there actually and has given the ball away. So Pak Nam Chol for Korea, number 4, spots Moon in space on the right hand side. Cha, the right back, really does like to get forward. He was the player a few minutes ago, hit from range with his left foot well wide, but here he goes again, just drifting across the centre of the field, about 30 yards from goal. Munn has gone out wide for him. He's the right winger, who's got a little trick or two of his own, but Bastos slides in, wins the ball well, has Robinho right next to him. Brazilian fans on their feet, expecting a fast break. Look at Robinho sprinting away down the left-hand side. Bastos keeps it, finds Kaká. Kaká in the middle of the Korean half, misplaced pass, goes behind Ilano. Ilano looks at him as if to say, hang on, we're supposed to be Brazil, we don't do that. The ball's gone out for a throw.
Yeah, he's human as well, Kaká, you know, one of the best players in the world, but that's a misplaced pass. But it's interesting to see that Brazil, when they're defending, they're only defending with 6 players, and it's given North Korea 1 or 2 opportunities to get forward. The 4 forward players, nearly Alano and Robinho, look as if their job isn't to get back the park at all.
Brazil 0, North Korea 0. At the iconic Ellis Park 15 years ago here, Nelson Mandela handed the Rugby World Cup to Francois Pienaar. Here in North Korea, trying to build a little move inside the Brazilian half. The Brazilian fans have certainly got into the vuvuzelas. You can hear the drum as well, the sort of samba beat in the background. Robinho's trying to race onto a long ball through. It was well covered in the end by Pak Jol Chin, the centre-back, who nodded back to his keeper. And so North Korea keeping it at 0-0, played 22 minutes, will be happy with what's happened so far. I mentioned Spain getting into action tomorrow. That's our 3 o'clock commentary. Spain against Switzerland from Durban. Ree's done it again, very frustrated with himself. The goalkeeper whacked it straight downfield to absolutely no one and given the ball back to Brazil. Our 12:30 kick-off tomorrow, Honduras against Chile in Nelspruit, and as I said, the big game for South Africa against Uruguay in Pretoria. England back in action on Friday. Fabiano picks the ball up, trying to turn here, edge of the penalty area, bustles his way past the defender, but he's fouled him apparently. Free kick goes to North Korea, and they've got midway through the first half and they have done extremely well, because there's been a couple of long range shots which have gone wide. Robinho's hit one straight at the goalkeeper Ree, but as I hand you over to John Murray, it remains goalless between Brazil and North Korea. John.
Thanks, Alistair. I think this is absolutely fascinating, this. Quarter of the game gone and it's still 0-0, and I'm not sure how many inside the ground were expecting that to be the case. And in many ways North Korea have given as good as they've got from Brazil, and actually some of the North Korean passing has been excellent. It is, I'm sure, for all of them the biggest game of their lives, and at the moment they're not disappointing the people of North Korea, however they're following this game. There are North Korean supporters inside Ellis Park here tonight. Not sure entirely where they've come from, how they got here. There must be probably maximum 50 of them, not far to our right, all waving their flags at the right moment. And they, I would imagine, will be satisfied with what's going on out there, because it's Brazil 0, North Korea 0. And here come the Brazilians now, looking dangerous, but Kaká's pass doesn't find a yellow shirt, and it's Mun who picks it up out on the right hand side. Mun, who had the audacity to shoot at goal against Brazil from inside his own half, which has to be one of the comedy moments of the World Cup so far, and shows that there's no little confidence in the side. Now here's the middle of the 3 central defenders. Ri Jun-il, 3 Rees in the North Korean side. One of them's the goalkeeper, Ri Myung-guk, and 2 Paks. So we'll try and make it clear which is which. Here's the captain, Hong. Now to G, the left back. Hong's continued his run up the left hand side, but this time the pass doesn't reach him, and the famous yellow shirts with the green trim, blue shorts and white socks of Brazil, the most successful country in the entire history of the World Cup, are back in possession. Robinho takes this throw. Not sure whether Robinho will enjoy the temperatures that we've got here this evening. It makes it all the more unique. We're watching a game in the World Cup finals, and it feels like the middle of the English domestic season. Here's Hong now, takes it away to the halfway line, sprightly stuff, gives it to Zhong on the left hand side. Zhong now takes on Zhuan and beats him, and then the cross from Zhong from the left is way ahead and over the top of Hong, who was in the middle, and it's behind for a goal kick. But good stuff again from North Korea.
Good stuff, counter-attack again, and the centre forward went up and got at the centre half, took him on, and he didn't produce anything at the end, but nice and positive when he got it. And Korea are really organised, you know. They're stifling Brazil. Brazil want to go through the middle. All their attacks are no wider than the width of the 18-yard box, so it's given the three centre-backs a chance to deal with it.
Well, Rubinho, that's a sturdy challenge from Pak Nam Chol in midfield, just 10 yards inside the North Korean half free kick, taken quickly by Rubinho, but from the wrong place. So referee Koshoy, the Hungarian, orders them to move it back, and Alano is going to take this. Remember Alano in November in Qatar, playing the ball in for Nilmar to score the goal against England. Always dangerous with his delivery into the box, whether it be from set pieces or from open players. Manchester City supporters well know he was very popular in the time that he was there. And here now is Zhuan at the back. Zhuan and Lucio, the central defenders. Now Maicon, Lucio's Inter Milan teammate, the right back. Here's Lucio again, the Brazilian captain, one of the World Cup winners that remains in the Brazilian setup from the last time they won the World Cup in Japan and Korea. Rubinho flicks the ball back. Felipe Melo now to the right hand side to Maicon, red shirts behind the ball. Maicon's going to shoot from distance, and goalkeeper Reed comes across and just sort of pats it behind, made quick round to his left and pushed it wide for a corner.
It was a shot from the angle, which you say it looks ridiculous, but he's now done it twice in the game, Maicon.
Yeah. Corner to Brazil. Elano to take. Lucio and Zhuan arrive up from the back. The aerial threat is there, pushing and shoving inside the box. Elano with the corner for Brazil, and outswinger to the near post is headed away by Zhong. Comes out now for Brazil, and then Zhong tried to flick it away, claims there was a handball. Referee disagrees. Zhong's gone down injured, and the ball is clattered out of play by G for a throw-in to Brazil, and Zhong stays down. And the referee is just indicating to one of the North Korean players, and in fact Zhong has stayed down. The referee is motioning Zhong to get up onto his feet. Sort of collided with Maicon as Zhong tried to take the ball out of his own penalty area, and he might well have just got a
he
dead
did.
leg.
He caught him there.
Yeah.
You can see there's blood coming from his knee, and the referee's told him to get up and get on with it. So for me, he's got that one wrong.
Yeah, throw in. Maicon takes it. Alano gives him it back. Maicon, lovely chip to Alano. Then to Kaká in the full-back position. Kaká's cross hits the first defender. And then Kaká goes down under the challenge from An, and that was inside the penalty area, but then got up again very quickly, and in the end the ball runs out of play on the halfway line for a throw-in to North Korea. 0-0.
Again, they're making it very hard for Brazil to get through. There's moments around the edge of the box, but they've done really well, Korea. They've stifled them. And I hope they are showing it live back in North Korea, because it would be a shame if they were going to miss an opportunity to see their country playing against Brazil. And the way they're doing, they're certainly not shaming themselves at all here. They're doing really well.
Well, the chap we spoke to before the game, that Mark Pugac here spoke to, suggested that they never have any live football in North Korea, and that what football is shown is like a day or a couple of days later. But in this day and age, you wonder how it is possible for the flow of information not to get there. I'm sure word will leak out or leak through whether they're able to get a result tonight.
Well, you may find that some of these players now come and play in Europe. I don't know how it works over there, but in their performance and how they've started at the moment, as I said, there's a lot of them look good players.
Who's caught your eye so far, David?
Well, I think the midfield players have done really well. The 17 in front of the back four, and the 11 and 4 either side of them. And in the centre forward, when he's picked it up, the boy who he's calling himself Wayne Rooney, has been really positive when he's got the ball. He's going to try to go past people. So, give them a lot of credit. They've come here, and at the moment they're really well organised.
And it was the number 9, Zhong, who actually had the first shot on target in the game against Brazil. It's still 0-0 on 5 Live here, and Rubinho ends up down a blind alley, and the red and white of North Korea have got it back. And now G forward towards the captain, Hong, who's running strongly from centre field. Gives it to Jong now, who's out on the left-hand side, and the number 9 is up against Lucio, and into the penalty area, and Lucio times his challenge well, and he had to, because if he'd mistimed it, it could have been a penalty. Corner, however, corner to North Korea.
He nearly ran Lucio, and Lucio's got great pace, and he's got a big gadget leg that comes out at the end and knocks it out for a corner kick. But I'll tell you what, once again the boss shows great confidence to go and take the centre halves on.
That was a great contest between Jong, Tesai and Lucio. One a good deal more familiar than the other, and it's a corner now that Hong Yong-jo will take from the left-hand side. So North Korea with their first corner of the match against the mighty Brazil. Here's the delivery towards the back post, and it's come off the head out there on the right-hand side of Pak, who was up from the back. Pak Chol-jin plays it back. Shot comes in from the edge of the area, but it's dragged wide, well wide from just outside the D.
Yeah, there was an opportunity there. It wasn't bad. And I don't know if it's the cold conditions tonight. I just get the feel the ball isn't quite flying as far as what it has done in other games tonight. A couple of shots have been kept a bit lower tonight. Maybe, as I say, it's the real cold winter's night here.
Just for the record, it was Ri Kwang Chong with that shot from just outside the D, but he dragged it probably 5 yards wide of the left post. But again, it's a contest. If you've just joined us on 5 Live tonight, we have a real contest here between the team that is ranked number 1 in the world and the team that is ranked number 106 in the world. The biggest gulf between sides in ranking terms at this World Cup. And offside flag is up against Luis Fabiano, the Sevilla striker, and it's a free kick to North Korea in front of their own penalty area. I'm finding the whole thing quite surreal and bizarre this evening.
Definitely.
The teams that we're watching, the fact that we're at the World Cup, and I have to remind myself of that, because it really is just above freezing inside the stadium here. I've never experienced this before. All of the World Cups I've gone to have been Summer World Cups, and in saying that, only 2 days ago in Durban it was t-shirts and shorts. But here in Johannesburg at Ellis Park, we're at altitude and we're cold. And here's a ball to the edge of the Brazilian penalty area that Juan backpedals and heads down. And Gilberto Silva gives it, just rolls it to the right to Maicon, who's over the halfway line. Robinho's here on the right. Robinho now, Maicon continued his run, runs his foot over the ball, but didn't give Maicon much chance there. And then quickly in, Pak Nam-chol is there to play it out of play off Maicon, and he wins the throw. And to me, the Brazilians just looking a little bit ruffled by what's going on out there.
Well, I think they're finding it very difficult to get through because the system which North Korea have set up. But Maicon, if he can get forward the way they're playing, and Bastos on the other side gets forward, then I think they'll start to cause them some problems. I mean, there's undoubted that Brazil have got more of the ball and more possession, and North Korea playing on the counter-attack.
12 minutes to go to half-time here at Ellis Park. Still Brazil 0, North Korea 0. Maicon now with his head down on the right-hand side. Felipe Melo is out there. And then Elano with a rather laboured flick to Robinho. A lovely little change of feet from him and a shuffle out towards this right-hand side. Then a trick as well. But the North Koreans are not put out of their stride by any of that. Maicon now into Robinho. Oh, lovely little samba trick from Robinho. Plays it back now for Michel Bastos. Shoots deflected just over the top onto the netting on the roof of the goal. And the referee says goal kick. Surely that was deflected, or am I seeing things? No, I'm not. It should have been
that was a corner kick. It hits the boy's head. And Bastos has had a couple of shots which have looked more likely to go in than anything else I've seen in the competition so far.
So it's still 0-0. Brazilians everywhere inside the stadium with the yellow shirts and the green flags, that famous flag with the blue globe on it and the white band across it. In all corners, all places, all seats it seems. Here's Kaká, very quiet so far. Tries to cross after his quite unconvincing first season at Real Madrid, Kaká. Now it's Brazil again who regained possession. Ball comes in from the left-hand side. Luis Fabiano, so dangerous in the air, was after it, but he was beaten to it. All credit to Ri Kwang Chon, who beat him in the air and was able to glance a header out of play on this side of the field. Throw-in taken quickly by Brazil. and Maicon now to Elano. Back it goes to Felipe Melo, and the Brazilians back in possession in centre field. Well done, the number 5 for North Korea, Ri Kwang-chong. Maicon now again on the right hand side, almost into the full back area, then pulls it back, but pass misplaced, and North Korea can clear it with a long ball downfield from Pak Nam-chol. This is for Jong to chase, and he's strongly been able to hold it up against Lucio. Did really well. Now to the right hand side, Mun might try a shot. He's on his right foot trying to get it onto his left, and Brazil have been able to get back. Pak Nam-chol now again still North Korea in possession, and then Cha tries a shot from 30 yards, maybe not quite that, but got underneath it and landed it high over the bar. 0-0.
Another really good counter-attack from North Korea, and the centre forward done terrific, held Lucio off and linked to play up, and actually I think they had a better opportunity to take the shot on earlier.
Yeah, as well as calling him the Asian Wayne Rooney, Jong Tae-se, he's also known as the human bulldozer, they tell us. And there, the way that he held off Lucio, I mean, that was real centre forward strength. But the Brazilians now coming forward. Felipe Melo's pass is easily cleared away by Ri Jun-il. Robinho's got it again on the left hand side, the little cheeky chappy with number 11 on his back, Kaká. Felipe Melo again, middle of the North Korea half, thinks about a shot from distance, plays it now to the edge of the box. Elano got a touch out to Maicon on the right. Maicon's cross straight into the back of Ji Yun Nam, and we've got less than 10 minutes to go to half time, and it is still goalless here. And those North Korean, somebody I think has given the signal here, David, to our right, and the North Korean flags have gone up and they're being waved furiously, and then they stop. Throw-in taken by Maicon to Gilberto Silva. His former Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger is inside the ground here in one of the media benches around us somewhere. I was pointing out to you, David, wasn't there, that Arsene Wenger was absolutely besieged by media people when he arrived in the media centre. You managed a little more incognito.
It's interesting to see how many people out here know the Premiership, the managers out here. It's been in every nationality I want an interview with myself, because the Premiership is so popular throughout the world.
Where did you say we'll come back to that, because Brazil now with Maicon on the right hand side. Lucio carried it forward, Maicon angles it infield towards Robinho, then Robinho back to Felipe Melo with the gloves and the short sleeves. Kaká takes up possession. Kaká puts his foot on the ball, then gives it to Michel Bastos on the left hand side. Robinho suddenly appeared on the left now. Robinho now pushes away the defender that was with him, and Gilberto Silva takes it up. Kaká edge of the box. This is dangerous. Michel Bastos into the middle. It's stabbed away. Brazil pick up possession again. Maicon just outside the area. Now to Elano on the right. Elano looks up. Here's the ball into the centre. Hit the second defender. Back to Elano again. Elano now his cross again hits the first defender, Ji Yun Nam, and is out for a throw.
Lots of red jerseys in the middle there, but it looks as if Brazil at any time there'll be a quick 1-2, quick bit of interchange of play around the edge of the box.
Throw-in taken by Maicon, who is able now to swing it into the middle, and it's headed away by Ri Kwang-chong. Brazil again with it. Kaká, Michel Bastos, Kaká once more, and those 10 North Korea players behind the ball working extremely hard. Brazil have got to find a way through. Elano now on the right, high ball into the penalty area, easily headed away, unchallenged, and then Luis Fabiano might have committed a foul there. Yes, the referees brought it back for that challenge by Luis Fabiano. And Mun In-guk, free kick North Korea.
Brazil are needing just to use Maicon and Bastos a little bit more to try and get their width, because as I said earlier, Elano wants to come in the field and Robinho, and to get round them I think they're going to have to get some more crosses in, but I have to say that they've defended really well, North Korea.
Yeah, Brazil trying to find a way through. I'm wondering which other bench Arsene Wenger is watching from, whether he's thought, I've seen this somewhere before, as the ball is played through to Jong, but he's in an offside position, and Brazil have a free kick.
They've certainly had moments, North Korea, and they've had 3 or 4 good breaks, so they've not come here and been completely outplayed.
David Moyes, the Everton manager, with us on 5 Live, and I think it was the Philippines you said that you'd got one of your requests for an interview from.
Philippines, Malaysia. It's been incredible the amount of people who, as I say, are interested in the Premiership.
Yeah, and of course it's absolutely huge in Asia, isn't it, as you well know. Here's Maicon now on the right hand side. Maicon through to Kaká. Kaká Trying to find Luis Fabiano. Across comes the ball. It's cleared away. Alano's in there. Ball breaks to Maicon. Now it's given back to Felipe Melo, who got right underneath that and clattered the ball against the executive boxes, if that's what they call them at Ellis Park, halfway up the stand behind Ri Myung-guk's goal.
That would have got 3 points in the rugby, that one.
It would, yeah, absolutely right. It was right through the middle, wasn't it? It's quite an atmospheric place, Ellis Park. Floodlights shining down, but it's quite higgledy-piggledy. There are lots of little concrete areas. I know for this World Cup, the tier of the stand that we're in has been reconstructed, but there are little balconies everywhere. And as Alistair Bruce Ball said, you know, this is a really historic sporting arena. If you remember 1995, Invictus and all that, if you've seen the film, this is the place where Nelson Mandela handed the Rugby Union World Cup to Francois Pienaar. And here is Brazil at the World Cup, one of the sights in football that you really need to see. One of the footballing wonders of the world, to see Brazil playing in a World Cup finals. But they're being held by North Korea in their opening game. Here's Robinho on the left-hand side again. Great footwork. Tries to drive it across, and it's taken a flick off the defender and behind for a corner to Brazil.
Yeah, Brazil short, quick passing, just beginning to get a little bit of joy. North Korea's, I wouldn't say they're hanging on, but they're certainly getting put under a bit more pressure now.
They've only got 3 minutes plus added time to hang on to make it 0-0 at half-time. But they've got to defend a corner here, and everyone now is back. All 11 North Korean players in their own penalty area. Here's the delivery to the near post, but it's not good enough, and Cha easily is able to head it away. You expect Brazilians to beat the first defender with corners.
That's both Alano's corners have been cut out at the front post. So interesting to see. You know, most of the corner kicks so far I've seen in the World Cup have floated away towards the back. But as I said, tonight I think the ball seems to be not moving quite so much in the air.
Yeah, the temperature is something like 3 degrees. Here's Felipe Melo on the right now after a raking ball from Alano, which picked him out, but he took it down, and across came the challenge from Ji Yun Nam to put it out for another corner. Pressure building. 3 minutes to go till half time.
And this is Alano's chance to see if he can deliver one now, because he's coming across to take this corner as well.
And here he comes now, currently playing in Turkey for Galatasaray. Lucas Neal, one of his teammates who I was watching for Australia the other night. Alano just mops his brow and waits. Brazilian corner. Here it is. It's towards the back post. Stretching header. Still Brazil. The danger is still there. Michel Bastos tries to reach it on the edge of the area. Robinho is there. Lucio's lost possession. And now Jong is fouled as he tries to run it towards the halfway line and appeals towards the referee. And it's a free kick to North Korea.
There was a brilliant counter-attack chance there. One pass and it would have eliminated the whole Brazilian players, and they would have had a 3v1 on. So they're in it. They're struggling just to hang on a little bit before half-time, but they've done fine up to now.
You know, Jong was quite cynically fouled there by Michel Bastos. That could have been a yellow card there.
It was. I think the referee has maybe just missed one or two things tonight, just in the early part of the game.
Yeah, he hasn't missed making sure that free kicks are taken from the right place though. So that will ensure one or two ticks, I'm sure, from the observers. Brazil 0, North Korea 0 is the intriguing scoreline here in Johannesburg. Earlier it finished 1-1 between New Zealand and Slovakia, and the first match in this group finished 0-0 between Ivory Coast and Portugal. It looked like a really entertaining match in the making after 20 minutes when we had to leave to come here to the ground, but I believe it rather fizzled away. But Didier Drogba came on as a substitute in the second half. Brazil with Robinho, central area to Michel Bastos on the left-hand side. The versatile Michel Bastos. Now to Kaká at close quarters, out there on the left flank. Felipe Melo now. He's got it. Middle of the half to Gilberto Silva. Play switch to the right-hand side to Maicon. Robinho tries to give it back to Maicon, but the left wing back G did well, and North Korea have just about been able to get it away. Maicon leaves the ball to roll out for a throw-in, which he takes quickly. Robinho tries to turn, gives it into the edge of the box. Alano attempts a turn, has to give it back to Felipe Melo, angles it to Michel Bastos, into the penalty area. Michel Bastos goes, clips it across and beyond the far post, and too far ahead of Luis Fabiano and Alano, who are in the middle.
Yeah, they're just keeping in their Korea. They're staying with it. And again, Robinho, just for me, just looks the most cleverest Brazilian player at this moment in time. You know, he's letting the ball run through him, and he's rolling the ball off his foot and playing people in. So but they're getting round the sides now. Bastos got round the outside of the defenders and nearly delivered a good cross.
Yeah. And they said Robinho couldn't play in the cold, didn't they? 45 minutes are up, and it's half time, and the scoreline here, and I think it is fair to say remarkably, is Brazil 0, North Korea 0, and the North Korean supporters are giving their team a standing ovation as they leave the field. They've got the half time, and it's still 0-0, David Moyes.
No, they've done really well in the first half, well organised. But once again, you know, it's maybe a game in the World Cup. We're saying it's not setting anything alight, because we're looking for Brazil probably to come out and show what they're all about. But I've got to give a lot of credit to North Korea and how well they've done in the first half.
I was watching quite carefully the Koreans' attitude towards the referee. The only one who ever said anything was the one who plays in Japan, the number 9, to use your words. Interesting is the rest of them, they weren't going to argue with anything. But maybe that little bit of exposure of the J-League just gave him a bit of confidence to say something to the ref.
Yeah, I think that's what, when I saw the decision the referee never gave for them, I thought surely they're going to complain, some of them, but not a word. So good on them, and let's see if anything else comes around like it in the second half.
We're underway. Here's Alistair.
Robinho has early possession for Brazil in this second half. He's fed the ball out to the right-hand side to find Ilano, just as I slip my right-hand glove on. Temperature seems to be dropping by the minute here at Ellis Park. A really chilly winter's night in Johannesburg. Fascinating evening it's been so far. Just watching how the North Koreans have set up and dealt with the world's number 1 team. Brazil 0, North Korea 0. I'll remind you the 2 team lineups in just a second. As far as I'm aware, there weren't any changes at half-time. Dunga, the Brazilian coach, stands still right on the edge of his dugout, arms crossed in the dark jacket, not looking best pleased with the way things are going. And as John Murray was saying towards the end of the first half, just a little bit of frustration building. Robinho on a mazy little dribble towards the edge of the box. Ilano dummies a shot, gets into position, hits a shot, it's blocked, and the ball comes spinning out of the North Korean penalty area. 50 seconds played in the second half on 5 Live Sport this Tuesday night. Brazil 0, North Korea 0. In the next 45 minutes or so, we could possibly be heading towards one of the big stories of this 2010 World Cup so far, but let's just see if North Korea can continue the good work in the second half. Kaká was very quiet in the first half. Down by the byline here on the right-hand side, his cross is blocked. North Korea taking no chances there. A long ball whacked forward. Lucio against Jong was a really good battle. The North Korean centre-forward against one of the best defenders in the world in the first half. Lucio here, the Inter Milan man, has won the head of Brazil's captain and comes striding forward with the Jabulani ball at his feet. Plays out wide to Maicon on the right-hand side. Chip ball into the box. Fabiano's onside. It bounced behind him. He couldn't control it. And North Korea will have a chance to clear. Patnam Chol, the number 4, on the right-hand side, runs into trouble. Gilberto gets the ball back, and he just feeds it back to Lucio, who quickly tries to get Brazil moving from right to left. Michel Bastos, the left back. Robinho definitely the best player for Brazil in the first half. Kaká towards Robinho. There is a foul there by Fabiano. So North Korea will get the free kick. 2 minutes gone in the second half. David Moyes, no hot drinks on sale at Ellis Park this evening. Bit of an error that, I think, from the organisers.
And a massive queue outside the gents, let me tell you, at half-time. It just tells you how cold it is tonight. But it's interesting. I think Brazil look as if they're going to maybe try and pick the tempo of the game up a little bit and get the full-backs forward. And I think if they do that, then the second half could become much harder for the Koreans.
Ri, the North Korean goalkeeper, who was forced into a couple of saves, but regulation saves in the first half. One from Bastos, one from Robinho, a low shot driven into him at the near post. Hasn't been troubled too much so far. Here's Ri Jun-il, the number 3, into the hugely impressive Jong, the number 9, the Asian Wayne Rooney. Real strong, powerful, sort of Shearer-like centre-forward as well, actually. Kaká on the left-hand side. Finds Robinho again. A couple of little dinks under the studs of his boot. Tickles the ball away to the right-hand side to find Maicon. The red shirts of North Korea defending in front of their penalty area. Playing from left to right as the big bass drum beats away, the samba beat away to our left-hand side. The constant drone of the Vuvuzelas present at every game. That continues as well as Robinho slips one to Ilano. Edge of the box. Another shot is blocked. Always in there quickly, the North Korean defence. Step up quickly, have closed shots down. Just very, very good organisation.
Yeah, they're just finding it hard to get any possession of the ball at this present time. Brazil have got it all. And again, I can only see Brazil going on here at the moment. But here we go, there's a counter-attack moment now for Korea.
And they've just given the ball away. The longer it goes, though, David, I mean, I'm sure, as you'll know, as a manager, when you're managing a team expected to win, the more nervous it gets.
Yeah, Kaka's beginning to come and try and get the ball a bit more and trying to play. But again, it's just, I think, the lack of width from Brazil. And what we'll end up getting is probably a quick 1-2 around the edge of the box and some clever play.
Let's see what they can do here. Gilberto Silva into Fabiano, finds Robinho, edge of the box. This could be the chance, gets the shot away, it's blocked. And it comes out to Maicon on the right-hand side, towards Kaka, back to goal, goes down and wins the free kick. Now this really could be dangerous for North Korea. They feel that Kaka has won that free kick a little bit easily. It is right on the edge of the D, and I know we so often say this, David Moyes, but sometimes the players feel that's just a little bit too close to try and get a ball up and down, particularly this World Cup ball, which seems to go up and away. Well,
the Brazilians over the years have been the best at free kicks, haven't they, and putting them in. So, as I said, I just think tonight, I think the ball hasn't flown quite as much. Elano's a fantastic taker of free kicks, as is Bastos, who's a great dead ball taker.
Well, they're the players who stand over the ball. Bastos, the left back, stands 45 degrees away, and he'll hit one with his left foot if he wants it. Elano with the number 7, who's getting a little bit frustrated with the Korean captain, who's with a little bit of gamesmanship just standing in his path. North Korea have lined up a 5-man red wall standing directly on the penalty spot. The free kick is central. North Korea have held out so far at Ellis Park. Flash bowls popping around the ground. Here he comes. Bastos with the left foot drive is wide of the right hand post, but my word, he got hold of that one.
He certainly did. It was a little bit unfortunate. I wasn't too sure if it was a free kick in the first place. I think Kaka bought it a little bit, but overall the ball goes wide, and we've yet to see a goal, I think, from a free kick.
I'm sure the Brazilian commentators who are in amongst us in the media stands here this evening would have expected to have given it a big goal by now, but they haven't had the chance. But Brazil have started the second half well, still being held here on BBC Radio 5 Live. A chilly evening in Johannesburg. 2 draws earlier in the day. New Zealand won, Slovakia won. New Zealand with a late equaliser there. So Italy, Paraguay, New Zealand, Slovakia all on 1 point apiece. In Group F. In Group G earlier today, a rather disappointing 0-0 draw between Ivory Coast and Portugal. And here it remains, Brazil 0, North Korea 0. Maicon makes his way down the right-hand side. Ball stays in play. He's tackled, but he keeps going, tries to balloon a cross in. The final touch comes off G, who is playing left-hand side for Korea, and Brazil win themselves a corner. You sense a bit of purpose about them, and they want to take the corner quickly as well. It'll be swung in from the right-hand side. Still goalless. Ball is curled in towards the near post. Keeper comes a long way, throws himself forward like Superman, a full stretch, double-fisted punch away. Maicon picks up for Brazil, chips one into the edge of the area. Nice little chest down. Robinho hits the shot and just drives it wide. That was a very nice strike from Robinho on the half volley. Brazil just seem to be getting in the mood a little bit more. Yeah,
Brazil have definitely started the second half better, and I think Korea, who were just hanging on a little bit before the end of the first half, it's continued. And if they keep this pressure up, I can't see any bit of Brazil getting a goal in the end.
The thing I'm thinking about at the moment, David, is the picture when we left the hotel a little bit early this afternoon when it was cold but the sun was shining, that lovely log fire that was burning in reception. I'm dreaming of that at the moment. It really is a chilly night here. It seems so strange to say when probably the pictures you've seen out here of bright sunshine, warmer climes, but a real variance up and down this big country that is South Africa. Brazil 0, North Korea 0. Again at Ellis Park, like Soccer City, you've got one of these big aerial cameras above the players on 4 tightly strung high wires, which goes whizzing up and down the pitch as play builds. And here are Brazil again in their bright yellow shirts, blue shorts, attacking right to left in this second half. Fabiano's been little bit quiet so far this evening. Really good goal scoring record for Brazil. Here come North Korea on the break. Jong, the number 9, doesn't have too much support. The skipper, Hong, is behind him. I tell you what, that's a very good spot, though. He's seen Pak Nam Chol on the left-hand side. Jong's made a run into the box. The skipper's behind him there as well. Hong, couple of step-overs from Pak, tries to get the cross in. Ball is out for a corner. If North Korea score first in this game, my word.
That was Rubinho like along the byline there, and another chance for them on the counter-attack. They look very quick and very positive.
8 minutes played in the second half. Brazil 0, North Korea 0. Kim Jong-un, the North Korean manager, just reminded me of the North Korean Ian Holloway down there with all the buzzing about of the arms. I mean, he really is out there almost playing the game, shouting instructions all the time. Here's an opportunity, set piece opportunity for North Korea. Corner curled in from the left hand side. Jong jumps and it's headed away by Schwan. It was an important defensive header. Here's Kaká. He's going to try and beat two players. He's got 4 red shirts around him. He's done so. He's got the pass across field. And now Rubinho comes speeding forward in the bright orange boots. Up to the edge of the penalty area. Looks to be making space for the shot. Tries to get the pass away. It's blocked. And it spins out for a throw in to Brazil. Gilberto Silva, former Arsenal man, takes it quickly. Melo, his fellow defensive midfielder, spreads play to the right. Ilano finds Maicon. He's in behind the defence. Pulls the ball across goal. And straight into the back of the net. He has beaten Rhee at his near post. It has taken Brazil 54 minutes to find that goal against North Korea. The keeper may well be a little bit to blame. The move was well worked. Maicon got in behind the back four, drilled the shot almost from the byline at a really tight angle. And finally, the red wall, the North Korean resistance has been broken. Brazil 1, North Korea 0.
Yeah, and they had to get round the outside, what we were saying, and they done. And he gets to the byline and you're expecting a cut back, and actually I think he might actually go for this. I'm not quite sure if he gets it right or not, but the goalkeeper has a nightmare, comes too far off his post and allows Maicon to get it in at the near post.
Well, a real shame for North Korea that the momentum had been building, David Moyes, in the second half, and just look at the sort of change in scene we see around us in the stands at Ellis Park, because those green flags with the symbolic blue globe in the yellow diamond in the middle are waving, the drums are beating faster, the Brazilian fans are dancing. A real disappointment that it's a goalkeeping mistake, really, that has cost North Korea the goal.
Yeah, it is, but it was good play by Brazil. A lovely weighted pass by Ilano to get him in, and when he got to the byline, everybody was waiting. We were thinking on the cut back, and no, he shot at goal and they got into the near post.
And it is extremely difficult to see how North Korea will come back from that, certainly judging by the way the second half has gone and first half as well in terms of possession. Brazil leading North Korea by a goal to 0. Finally managed to break them down, and let's just see what that does to the shape of the game. Maicon with his 6th goal for Brazil. The Inter Milan right back speeding into the penalty area on the right hand side. But if you do get a chance to see the goal on the highlights on television back home, I think you, like us, will agree that the keeper was well at fault. He fizzed the shot. Oh, I mean, he was 2 yards off the byline, wasn't he, David?
Yes, it would be nobody would normally go and try that. Now, if he did, it was fantastic if he saw the position of the goalkeeper. But I think the goalkeeper should have done the right thing in the first place and been in the position. If he was there, he would have never taken it on.
So Brazil lead their first goal, World Cup 2010. Here is the goal scorer, Maicon, who starts a little run infield, then stops, turns, comes back, finds Ilano. You can just sense a little bit more of a swagger, a little bit more of an ease about the way the Brazilians are caressing the football around the park now. Here's Maicon, down the line towards Kaká, controls the ball under his studs, takes the defenders on for pace, tries to get the cross in from the right-hand side. It's blocked, and the ball goes out for a throw. Kaká's been a little disappointing so far, Dave.
He has a bit. I mean, the difference at the moment for me is Maicon. I think Maicon's beginning to get forward. He's just got the goal. But I think overall he looks as if he's the one who can cause them problems, because apart from that, they're very central and they find it hard to get through Brazil.
BBC Radio 5 live at Ellis Park this evening in Johannesburg. Brazil broken North Korea down. They lead by a goal to 0. Here's the right back Cha. I think he was caught on the ankle there. He was. Melo stepped in. Referee is very quickly over. Comes over to have a word with Melo, and I think he said that's your last warning. Another one of those, and you will go in the book. Tomorrow's action on Radio 5 Live then. 12:30 Honduras against Chile from Nelsbrook. Spain get into action against Switzerland. It is the final round of opening group matches tomorrow. That's in Durban at 3 o'clock, 7:30. Another big night for the host nation. South Africa against Uruguay in Pretoria. Following that game, Danny Baker's Wednesday night programme will be on as well. North Korea attacking down the left-hand side. Maikon, the goal scorer, has blocked it. Jong is a real all-action centre-forward, comes bustling in, tries to win the ball back, does so unfairly. He's been fantastic.
He showed brilliant control there. He pulled one out there and turned with it, and he just slips at the last minute, but he worked very hard to try and get it back. But Korea will now need to try and get some more support to him and maybe try and get a bit more of the ball if they're going to get anything at all now.
Another thing I was just thinking as well about this North Korean performance this evening, David, is Ivory Coast and Portugal, who've both drawn, will be watching this, and it'll probably be their first look at them, and they'll think that's going to be tough.
No, they'll probably think that's 3 points, but it wouldn't surprise me if Korea do take points somewhere along in one of those 2 games. But at the moment, they're not changing what they're doing. They're just sitting behind the ball, and Brazil is what you would expect. They'll just keep it and force them to come out.
Yeah, it's a stroll at the moment for Brazil, having taken the lead, and I think we may well see a lot more of this in the second half. Melo with a casual pass forward to Kaká. Suddenly, though, they can burst into life like this. Kaká lays off to Ilano. Again, the pass just ahead of Ilano. Couldn't quite control it, so he's been forced wide. The move has lost a little bit of momentum. Comes back down the right-hand side to Maikon. Maikon plays in field to Gilberto Silva. Little 1-2 between those two. Just the threat of a Mexican wave breaking out on the opposite side of the ground, which is always a slight concern, which suggests the football is going nowhere, but still fascinating to watch. Brazil 1, North Korea 0. Kaká pokes a little ball to Melo. Melo finds Maikon, goes for the cross towards the penalty spot, headed away, comes back to the edge of the area. Here's Bastos, the left back. Will fancy the strike. Oh, good strike. Straight at the keeper, palmed away. Ball bounces in the box, and it is smashed away by North Korea, out for a Brazilian throw.
Really good strike by Bastos, on target as well, kept it down, and earlier on the first half he had a couple of shots as well.
Bastos, that's a nice ball as well, inside to Melo. Thought about the shot outside of the right foot. That was a poor ball, easily intercepted by Pak. He clears long downfield looking for Jong. Juan got in ahead of him and nicked the ball. There's a little Brazilian nutmeg. Fantastic work from Bastos. Then he pokes one outside the right back, picks up the ball the other side, little back heel to himself. Wonderful Brazilian magic from the left back down the left hand side. The ball actually went over the byline and out for a goal kick, but that's what we love to see.
Yeah, that's a little bit of the samba, I think, coming out there, wasn't it? A nutmeg, and then he goes round one, plays it round one side and runs round the other, and then a little bit of a half Cruyff turn, which nearly gets across it.
I must say, actually, one of the funniest, strangest little bits of information I read in our hugely thick kind of World Cup Bible that we bring us with us here, with all the information and all the teams. Not on North Korea, on Brazil. I was reading in that book that Maikon, the Brazilian right back who scored, was actually meant to be christened Michael Douglas, because his father was such a fan of Michael Douglas, but there was some sort of confusion when he went to register the name. His middle name is Douglas, but his name is Maikon Douglas, so I'm not quite sure why his dad was so into Michael Douglas, whether it was Gordon Gekko in Wall Street or War of the Roses or something like that, but there we go. I didn't know that about Maikon. He's the goal scorer this evening for Brazil, and you learn something every day when you listen to Radio 5 Live. World Cup coverage this evening from Ellis Park. Ilano, by the way, is taking a long run up at this free kick. Good 10 yards away. Here he comes, but he floats it, he dummies, he chips to the far post. Juan's going to be able to control it, try and cushion it back into the box. Couldn't get it right. Ball bounced too high. The ball is behind for a goal kick. Brazil lead 1-0. And here's David Moyes.
Yeah, it looked as if he was going to have a shot there at the last minute, but they caught them offside. But Brazil now are in top, have got total possession of the ball. Lots of quick passes around the edge of the box, trying to get through. But Korea, if they get a chance on the break, then they're very quick. But I think they might need to change if they're going to get any chance of getting back in the game.
Jong, their bustling centre forward, wins a header, nods it down to the captain Hong. It's so rare we're talking about North Korean possession, but this is a good driving run down the left hand side from G. He's tackled. Now this is where Brazil will be dangerous on the break. Look at Kaká sprinting away, releases the pass to Robinho, drags the ball to his left foot, curls across him with the right, lays it down. Fabiano with the left foot drive over the bar and behind for a goal kick. He holds his head in his hands. It was a good opportunity.
Yeah, should score. Good play by Brazil, and this is what happens if you're going to get forward North Korea and put a few players forward. If Brazil win it back, they're a real threat on the break.
What do we think then so far, David, of Brazil? I mean, obviously, hugely fancied to win this World Cup yet again.
Well, I was fortunate enough to see Argentina the other day, and if you said to me between the two at the moment, on what I've seen in the first game, I'd say Argentina. But I think that Brazil have got the players to win games. I'm looking and just saying it. I think it's a real difficult game for them. Korea, I've got to say, are making it really hard for them to show any of that flair or quick passing through the middle. Good
test for Brazil this evening. Their opening game, 2010 World Cup. They lead by 1-0. And a clearance from the back is away by Melo. Comes off the North Korean left-hand sided midfielder Ji. And the ball goes out for a Brazilian throw. North Korea have done themselves extremely proud so far this evening. Difficult to see where they're going to find this goal from. Couple of efforts on goal in the first half. The centre forward, the number 9, who's got his hands on his hips at the moment, has been hugely impressive in his battle against Lucio. But he has seen nothing at all of the ball in the second half, and you do feel it's probably more likely to be another Brazil goal that will come next. And will it be here? No, Melo's given the ball away in midfield. Kaká tries to win it back. Stepping forward is Gilberto Silva. That's the job he does well, but hasn't been able to get it back for the yellow shirt. So here's Cha, the right back, who did manage a strike in the first half. Plays a little ball into Pak. Pak tries to find the skipper Hong, but Xuan steps in, intercepts. North Korea have it back on the left-hand side. She's going to hit one from range, drags it wide. Julio Cesar had it covered, and it is behind for a Brazil goal kick.
Long way out, that shot, but I think that a lot of the players in the World Cup fancy themselves, and they're taking shots from all sorts of distances at this present time. But Korea have had moments, but at the moment it's all Brazil.
And here they come again. Brazil with the swagger, with the style. Maicon on the right-hand side, just imploring his teammates to make a run for him and show a bit of movement off the ball. They've decided to come backwards from right to left. Michel Bastos, the left back, who's shown us he certainly fancies a shot from distance when he gets in the positions. But again, Brazil have switched to the right-hand side, and with the goal scorer Maicon to Robinho, central position, 40 yards out, just a little casual layoff to Kaká, who comes jogging across as if he's playing in the park on a Sunday. Can Robinho keep it in on the right-hand side? No, he can't. So the ball will drift out for a throw. And just a chance as well for me to tell you about a couple of other things on 5 Live and across the BBC to look out for, to keep listening to during the World Cup. Of course, our podcast, which has highlights of everything that goes on every day on the BBC Sport website, www.bbc.co.uk/sport. And click on the World Cup section for that. Sports Extra as well, our digital station, every half hour in the morning has a highlights package for you. And the other thing we should flag up as well is Nicky Campbell in Soweto tomorrow morning with the breakfast programme, when they will be handing out some Everton shirts, won't they, David, to some of the kids in Soweto?
Well, we hope so. We hope to get some Everton gear out to the kids, and pictures of Stephen Pienaar, who's very, very popular out here in South Africa.
Yeah, we've seen so many of the school kids as well at these games, which has been extremely good. Our attendance this evening is about 7,000 or so off capacity. There are a few empty seats dotted around, but noise is good. Everyone, of course, wants to see Brazil. Everyone fascinated by North Korea. Free kick has gone to Brazil here for an aerial challenge on Kaká, but the North Korean player Pak Chol-jin, who jumped, is actually the one who's gone down hurt and is doing some pretty impressive stretching. And that's the other thing we spotted in the warm-up, actually, David. Their agility, their flexibility of the North Koreans. I mean, some of the high kicking they were doing.
Definitely. I don't think that's a free kick. I think then it might be the other way. I think the boy goes for a great header, gets above Kaká, and the referee's given the free kick against him.
Game is just drifting a little bit at the moment. Brazil are comfortable. They got the goal 9 minutes into the second half. Just seeing replays of it again on our screens in front of us. It's an interesting one, that, David. Maicon looks up, drills the cross in at pace. I don't know whether he meant it or not, but it snuck in at the near post. No,
I'm seeing the replay as well, and he doesn't look. He actually looks for a cutback, and he tries to fire the ball hard and low across the goal, and I think he doesn't mean it on what I've seen there.
Well, that's the goal that separates the two sides. We have a stretcher on the field at the moment for Pak Chol-jin, who took the knock in the aerial challenge. He is being slowly lifted onto that in some trouble. A few of the Brazilian players just in a little huddle discussing how things are going. They lead by 1-0. We're past the midway point in the second half, so I'll hand you over into the capable hands of an extremely chilly John Murray.
Well, that's great timing, Alistair, and I'll tell you why. Because they're going to bring on number 14, Pak Nam Chol, which means that we will have two players on the field called Pak Nam Chol, the number 4 and the 14. So once the change is made, if indeed it is, actually I noticed there that Pak Chol Jin is suggesting he might be able to come back on, and that is the case, and Pak Nam Chol 2 is being sent back to take his seat in the dugout. Not the worst development I've ever seen in a football match.
I think the boy might have just had cramp when he jumped.
Yeah, well, he did.
And he landed.
That's what it looked like, didn't it?
You know, they brought the stretcher on for him, but he's back on anyway.
So, Brazil 1, North Korea 0 on 5 Live here in Johannesburg at, well, in inverted commas, the lesser of the two World Cup stadiums in Joburg, Ellis Park. And North Korea really entertaining us here tonight against Brazil and limiting them to just the one goal, and a sort of freakish sort of goal from Maicon, with the goalkeeper badly at fault at his near post. And there is a foul by Cha John Hyuk on Gilberto Silva, and it's a free kick to the Brazilians halfway inside their own half. Brazil 1, North Korea 0. Maicon, the scorer, playing at his first World Cup after his excellent season with Inter Milan, in which he's scored a number of goals, not least in the Champions League semi-final against Barcelona, you might remember, when he lost a tooth. I also remember from that game. Here's Robinho on the left-hand side. Michel Bastos of Lyon. Now Robinho. Now it's taken up by Felipe Melo again. Felipe Melo, 30 yards from goal. Out he goes, sweeping it towards the right-hand side. Alano is there. Maicon on the overlap. Infield it comes again, though, from Alano to Felipe Melo, who shoots. Blocked on the edge of the D by An. And then the ball skitters away into the right-back position. Kaká, disappointing tonight. Back to Michel Bastos. Rolls it along the edge of the penalty area, but cleared away near the D. And North Korea get it up towards the striker, Jong, but he's beaten this time by Juan. He's had a good night, Jong, the North Korean number 9, very strong. And Lucio and Juan, the two Brazilian central defenders, know that they've been in a battle tonight against him. But Brazil back in possession as the Samba beat in far from Samba weather conditions continues to be drummed out around the ground. And Robinho sends a lovely pass through for Alano to slide into the net and make it 2-0 to Brazil. Oh, lovely stuff from the Brazilians, created by Robinho and finished by Alano, and it's Brazil 2, North Korea 0.
That was a lovely pass for Robinho, split the defenders, waited perfectly for Alano to walk onto it and finish it, and he finished it really well, and a really nicely taken goal.
And that should be it. A little bit of a struggle for Brazil tonight, but they should have those 3 points now, you would think. Yeah,
it's a good pass, and Alano's in it. They've always been threatening. It was always going to come, I think, because they've been under so much pressure in North Korea. But good goal, and a solid Brazilian performance at this present time without being scintillating.
Steered it nicely in, Alano. That's his last act of the game, or at least his celebration was his last act, because off he comes, and Daniel Alves is coming onto the right-hand side of midfield, the Barcelona man. Alano and Daniel Alves have a little cuddle together as off he goes with a smile on his face, and the Alano and his coach Dunga have a little laugh together as well, and then the familiar scene now of him going along, Alano, and being congratulated quite wildly actually by all of his teammates, wrapped up warmly in their grey body warmers, and then takes his seat, and very soon he'll be wrapped up in grey as well. But 2-0 to Brazil on 5 Live. Here's Robinho now. Robinho approaches the edge of the penalty area. Kaká shoots on the turn, but straight at goalkeeper Ree, who holds it comfortably this time. David Moyes.
Yeah, North Korea are now beginning to look a little bit ragged, and Brazil now can keep the ball and take a few more risks with it as well when they get it, and that's what they're doing. Robinho and Kaká are now just sort of walking back behind the play, and if they get this ball again, they'll be a big threat.
I suspect Manchester City supporters around the world will have smiled wryly at the sight of Robinho and Alano, one former Manchester City player, one still current Manchester City player, but not sure for how long. You'll probably be aware that he spent the second half of last season, or this season, in Brazil. his homeland on loan with Santos, but they combined for the goal on what is a very cold night, and that's the irony. Here's Maicon, infield to Dani Alves, and now Kaká, and then back to Felipe Melo it goes, and then it's rolled out. There's space here on the left hand side for Michel Bastos. Brazil comfortable now, 2-0 up against the rank outsiders at this World Cup of North Korea. Robinho plays it through, gets a lucky break. Oh, Luis Fabiano almost gives it back to Robinho, and he's literally hopping mad, Robinho, because it didn't break for him, and he would have been through had it done. Still Brazil. Now Gilberto Silva to the right hand side to Maicon. Zango ball into the penalty area to Fabiano. Robinho waits in the middle. Luis Fabiano just gets it taken away from him, toe poked away by Ri Jung-il for a corner.
And North Korea don't seem to be showing any more intent to try and get a goal back at all or make any changes. I think I don't know if they're going to try and hang in here, and here's an opportunity for Brazil.
Corner taken short. Gilberto Silva back to Dani Alves. Now Kaká clips it across to the back post, but it's over everyone in there and actually will run away out of play for a throw into North Korea.
And there could be another goal or two in this for Brazil. If the way it's going at the moment, North Korea look as if they're just going to sit in, and I think Brazil now look as if they'll keep the ball and no doubt keep it off them for the rest of the game.
But it was good fun, wasn't it, for 54 minutes?
It was great, and look, North Korea have done really well, and I think nobody expected a great deal from them. They've done fine in the first 45, but Brazil always looked that more threatening, and leading up to half time they looked as if they could get a goal.
Robinho's just taken a bang in the face after he won the ball back from a North Korean throw, and I think a stray arm has just struck little Robinho on the side of the head, or maybe even a finger in the eye, and he's gone down and might need a little bit of treatment, but the referee's had a look and decided there's not too much wrong with him, so he gets up and he'll have to do his own first aid. It's actually a corner. It's been taken and Robinho receives it, and Dani Alves now to Michel Bastos. Dani Alves swirls the ball in high to the back post, but the offside flag is up against Felipe Melo, and a free kick to North Korea. 2-0 to Brazil on 5 Live, and I've got a feeling I know what you're going to do after you appear on the breakfast programme in the morning, that is. And
I hope not at 6 o'clock, what they said earlier on there. There will
don't
be
worry,
trouble.
It's a little bit later than that. Before you go to Pretoria tomorrow night, with temperatures not forecast to soar tomorrow evening, to the shop, pair of gloves.
I think I'm going to have to get Dunga's polo neck. I think the one he's wearing down there might be the one I need.
And by the way, he knew that the temperature, mind they were here this time last year, weren't they, winning the Confederations Cup, because he's got a fantastic coat that looks as though it might have come off the back of a Brazilian naval admiral with white buttons on the front. He looks very ship-shaped, does Dunga, the World Cup winning player, and he hopes coach for Brazil, as Lucio now carrying the ball forward from the back, and then just perhaps jarring a knee as the challenge came in on him and caught him from Patnam Chol, and Lucio is okay, the Brazilian captain, just a little hobble from him. Robinho's got it on the left hand side. Robinho now moves in field, thinks about his shot, goes for the shot, but well wide. Yep, Manchester City supporters will remember that from him as well by 6 yards or more. And a goal kick to North Korea, and I see that Nilmar is going to come on up front, the Villarreal striker. I'm presuming that's from Luis Fabiano, the fourth official, just preparing the board. The North Korean coach has yet to make a substitution, and in actual fact it's Kaká who is coming off. So Nilmar and Luis Fabiano will play up front together, and Kaká looked less than convincing this evening, David Moyes.
No, I wouldn't have said he shone the way that everybody hoped he would do, but you know, it's only the start of the tournament. He's finding his way as well. He's a terrific player, and well, let's hope we see more from the tournament.
Yeah, let's hope so. Kaká, 28, you know, that's the prime, isn't it, for football? That's the sort of age that's always pointed out, and this is his third World Cup, but in his first one really only made a fleeting contribution, as Dani Alves' pass is intercepted on the edge of the box. Maicon now has it again and lifts it over into the full-back position. Dani Alves is off after it. He'll cross left-footed. Here it is, but it's over the top of Nilmar in the middle. and will run out of play for a throw. So
what you're saying about Kaká, it's interesting. I think tonight on show, Robinho and Maicon have been the pick of the Brazilian players for me. Are certainly the ones who are making a little bit of difference. But over the recent years, it's always been Kaká they've relied on. But I think Robinho's played very well tonight. Yeah,
but what I'm saying is that he has a little to prove on the World Cup stage. Because if you remember 4 years ago, I distinctly remember him being one of the players who disappointed
that's right.
Germany when they went out in the quarter-finals. But 2-0 to Brazil here. And Felipe Melo in front of the centre circle. The North Koreans are going to make a change. And it's not going to be Pak Nam-chol coming on. Pak Nam-chol 2, that is. Here's Nilmar, makes space for himself, shoots, goalkeeper gathers it in the second attempt with Luis Fabiano interested for a moment as it bounced away, but the connection from the goalkeeper seemed to put a bit of backspin on it, and it returned to him.
Just done enough to keep it, didn't he? It didn't get too far off his body, and was able to grab it at the second attempt.
I've just seen what you're talking about there, Dunga's polo neck jumper, which is a real. Now he's got it's like the sort of fishermen on the west coast of Scotland would wear.
That's right. Yeah, and that's what we need tonight.
Yeah, we do. Here's the first South Korean change, and Moon In-guk, who in the first half, if you weren't listening or watching, had a shot from the halfway line, is replaced by the number 6 Kim Kum-il. So I would expect he will take a position in midfield. Kim, and onto the field he comes, and it's 2-0 to Brazil, and we've got 10 minutes of this game, the second game in Group G to play, after earlier it finished 0-0 between Ivory Coast and Portugal. And Brazil with it on the right hand side. A never less than atmospheric evening at a football match at this World Cup of 2010 with the horns, the vuvuzelas. Here's Felipe Melo, shoots from 25 yards but straight into the goalkeeper's chest, and he holds it securely.
Apart from the mistake the goalkeeper made in the first goal, I think most things he's done very well tonight. But that first goal's just given Brazil the real lift, and obviously Korea had an uphill task before, never mind after going a goal behind.
So 2-0 to Brazil, and many of the familiar sights at a Brazilian international football match around the ground. But one of the things that is missing, and you always see this, that the television people will always pick out the skimpily dressed women, that they always tell that it's a staple of World Cups.
Where I've not seen any,
but tonight they're well wrapped up. As there's a foul on An Young-hak down the right as he tried to take it on, and a free kick to North Korea on the right, so a chance for them to have a set piece delivery from this right hand side. I was most amused at one TV shot before the game of one young woman who was squeezing herself into a tiny little black leather jacket. So the free kick on the right that Cha Jong-hyuk is going to take. Julio Cesar, who's had relatively little to do, but he has been forced to make a couple of saves. Here it is then, the delivery into the box, and Julio Cesar comes in and makes a very, very comfortable looking catch.
Oh, the keeper came there and looked the business, didn't he? Came and took it easily, and he's had nothing to do really all night, the goalkeeper, except for probably try and keep himself warm, the same as we're trying to do now.
Yep. 2-0 to Brazil. And out it goes to the right hand side, and Maicon, who started the scoring in the second half with that goal in the 55th minute. Then to Robinho now in his stride, shoots, and it clatters into the defender on the edge of the box and behind for a corner.
I thought Robinho took the wrong choice. He had a chance to play Maicon in again, and maybe a wee bit selfish there. He could have played Maicon in and who'd have got through.
Yeah, that's the bad side, isn't it, of Robinho? He just can't resist it. Corner, which is taken short out on that right hand side, and Robinho in possession again. Little touch from him, very delicate. Dani Alves back to Robinho into the box, clips it across this time. It's chested down by Lucio. Lovely turn from Lucio inside the box, shoots from the angle straight into the defender, and the ball bounces up for Ri Myung-guk, the goalkeeper, to pick up.
Some of the play there's more like I'm sure the people back home in Brazil will want to see. Some little quick passes, and then Lucio had a turn in the box and nearly got a shot away.
So Brazil 5 times, record 5 times winners of the FA Cup. Of the World Cup. Hoping to win it for the 6th time on its first occasion here in Africa. And, well, they've won it in North, South and Central America. They've won it in Asia and they've won it in Europe. The glaring omission is the fact that they weren't able to win it on the only previous occasion it was held in Brazil. Here's Dani Alves through to Luis Fabiano. His is an offside position and North Korea have got a free kick. And another Brazilian change. Ramirez will come on in midfield and he will take the place of Felipe Melo. And before the game, Mark Pugac here with us in Ellis Park this evening was talking to a Brazilian journalist on the air who suggested that he felt that by the end of this World Cup Ramirez would be playing in midfield instead of Felipe Melo. So
yeah, he's a good player. We know him from Benfica. We played him in the UEFA Cup this year, Europa League as they call it now, and no, he's a good player.
Yes, I remember watching that game at Goodison Park in the group stage, wasn't it, when Eusebio was back at Goodison, and very much the evening of the visit of North Korea back in 1966 was celebrated, and Eusebio was presented, wasn't he, with a signed and framed memento of the evening. North Korea heading the ball away on the edge of their own box. It's again Brazil. Ball over towards Neymar, controls it and shoots straight at the goalkeeper. And it was close enough for him, but that was magic from Neymar.
It was. He's looked sharp since he's come on. In 2 shots on target, a couple of attempts at goal, and I could see Brazil getting another goal here.
And with just over 5 minutes to play, Gilberto Silva, who surplus to requirements at Arsenal a couple of years ago, but has been a double winner in Greece this season. Here's Robinho, now plays it through. Luis Fabiano with the run. Covering challenge from G. Luis Fabiano again, but overran it through and behind for a goal kick. They do look in the mood for another one.
Yeah, they do. And I mean, North Korea have been a little bit disappointed. When they've got forward, they've just not quite picked the pass. And as I said earlier, they're really well organised, as if they're not going to concede too many. But I'm just not quite sure how many they're going to score if they get opportunities.
So 5 minutes to go. Brazil leading North Korea by 2-0. As the ball's played over the top for Jong to chase, and he could be in here. Oh, an important challenge right at the last moment from Juan, when Jong, I'm sure he felt he was going to get his chance to score the goal that he predicted he would.
And I was nearly eating my words there. I just said a minute ago that I didn't think there was a chance, and it was only great pace from Juan to get back and stop him. And no, the boy up front's been a threat. He's worried the centre halves for a lot of the night, but a great defending by the centre half to get back.
So a corner to North Korea, their third of the game. Hong to take it, the captain. In swinger, Julio Cesar very nearly misjudged it, but was able to adjust and punch it away off the top of his fists and out for a throw on this right hand side that Pak Jol Chin takes. And then Pak Nam Chol plays it back for Ri down the line, but Michel Bastos is across to clear it out of play on the halfway line, and it's a throw in to Brazil with the score 2-0. 3 more commentaries on 5 Live tomorrow. As I've mentioned, David Moyes is going to be in Pretoria tomorrow night for what should be a really, really special evening when South Africa play Uruguay. That's the match that is on tomorrow evening. First commentary of the game is Honduras-Chile, the first game in Group H, which is Spain's group, and then Spain themselves opening against Switzerland at 3 o'clock UK time down in Durban, where it'll be a good deal warmer than it is here up at altitude in Johannesburg. 2-0 to Brazil. 3 minutes of the 90 to play. And ball played through. Luis Fabiano is offside, though, after it was just slipped nicely through by Ramirez, but just straight offside.
Yeah, he's just been on the edge of defenders a couple of times, Fabiano, and they've held a really good line, the Koreans, well organised, and they caught him offside. Yeah,
and Cha was caught there by Ramirez, and the referee's going to bring it back, and you know, he's going to book Ramirez for that. Gilberto Silva pleads his case, but the yellow card was already quickly out. We've not seen too many cards, have we?
No, it was just a little bit late, and he might have just got it right, the referee there, you know, just a little bit after the ball.
Just checking, is that the first yellow card that we've had of the game? Yes, it is. So, North Korea now trying to do something about this. Ball into the penalty area, it's blasted into the net! North Korea have scored against Brazil! Ji Yun-nam is the man who's got it, and that is a famous moment, a famous moment in North Korean football. He burst into the box on the left, and Ji hit an unstoppable shot past Julio Cesar into the back of the Brazilian net. They may well go on to lose this game, but North Korea can remember the night that they scored against Brazil at the World Cup. It's Brazil 2, North Korea 1.
What a fabulous goal. Great diagonal pass. The boy at the back headed it down, and the boy on the left hand side, I don't know their names, came in, took it on in his stride and finished it. And who knows, there it was. I was thinking that North Korea didn't have a goal in them, but what a really good goal that was.
Ji Yun-nam is the name that will be flashed up in lights in North Korea. It'll go alongside the name of Pak Do-ik from 1966, who famously scored the winner against Italy. And okay, it might be in a losing cause. And here's Robinho now for Brazil, who couldn't find the pass through to Luis Fabiano, and Dani Alves swings it across, and Nilmar's interested, but goalkeeper Ree comes and takes the catch. Well, I must say, David, I don't know about you, but I'm absolutely delighted for North Korea that they've been able to score that goal. And Jong is going to shoot from 25 yards, but got underneath it and flashed it high over the top into the Brazilian supporters. Now that could have been a shocker.
That would have been World Cup Willie if that had got in. That was the one there. He had another shot from distance, and he certainly fancies himself. Probably the wrong decision, but what a good goal, and another half chance for Korea.
So Brazil 2, North Korea 1. The fourth official is preparing to show us how much longer will be added on, and there are 2 minutes. And, well, we'll have to say it, there is only one goal in this game. And North Korea looking to rattle the Brazilians, and Kim, the substitute, tries to take it on, might get a second chance, but it's cleared away for Brazil by Lucio. Only back for the red shirts of North Korea, and their little group of supporters here are getting very excited about this. But it's lost by North Korea on the halfway line, and Dani Alves is going to bring it forward now towards the edge of the box, so there are some gaps there. Robinho wanted to get the shot in but wasn't able to, with 4 yellow shirts around him.
Should have put a quick 1-2 and he'd have got them in again.
Yeah, and there's a chance here to counter-attack, and Hong to the right hand side. Jong is there. Jong goes one way, then the other. Left foot shot, wrong option, dragged it wide of the near post and behind for a goal kick.
Yes, and my name for him earlier on, I think is correct, isn't it? World Cup Willie. Every time he gets it, he's taking the shots on, and he must be some goal scorer if he fancies himself from those distances.
Well, in the end, there is only one goal in it, and I notice a number of Brazilian supporters have left the ground, assuming that Brazil were going to win this, but they've been in a game. And here is Ramirez out to the left hand side to Michel Bastos, and then Ramirez again with space to take it on, and only 30 seconds or so of added time left in this game. And nice little touch from Nilmar to Ramirez, but pass forward is cleared away and up towards Jong again, who might be picked out as North Korea's man of the match, although they've had a few of them. I feel that they've done well at the back, certainly. They've defended well, and Young Hak, the number 17, has also caught the eye in front of the defence, and Brazil run the ball out of play for a throw into North Korea. And there's the final whistle at Ellis Park, and it's been quite a night. It has for North Korea, making their first appearance at the World Cup finals since 1966, and they have pushed Brazil, the most successful country in the history of the World Cup, all the way, and Brazil have beaten North Korea by 2-1. David Moyes.
Well, a good job of Brazil in the end, but I've got to give a lot of credit to North Korea. Stuck at the game and kept defensively very strong. Never really looked as if they were going to beat them, but nevertheless, getting the goal back has just added a wee twist to the game, and a comfortable win for Brazil without being absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, a lovely touch here from the North Korean players, as they did before the game. Even though they've only got really not much more than a handful of supporters inside Ellis Park, they go there, the team, into the centre circle and line up and applaud all the way around to the spectators inside the ground, and are warmly congratulated by their Brazilian counterparts. So the final score here, Brazil 2, North Korea 1,